Hey, what's up, everybody? Jonathan back here on Pacific Inlet. I'm just getting the rest of these wood chips kind of cleaned up here. I kind of got started in between videos, but then realized that my wood chip trailer was full, so I couldn't add it to it. But I got that delivered to the wood chip storage facility, and so now I can put some wood chips back in here. So I've already got one in there, now I'm just putting the rest of them. And if you're wondering where the log trucks are, they're right back up the road behind me. I got them loaded, both of them. So we'll get those sent off to the mill in just a minute. And as you can see, I got some more logs skidded up. I did that last night. So we're ready to process a few more. Alright, that should do it for now. We'll have to wait till we get all the logs out of there before we can get the rest of those little wood chips. But for right now, let's go ahead and get the log trucks sent off. I parked them up the road here a little ways just to get them out of the way. Alright. And I'm parked them up here a good ways too, so that way whenever we run our course play route, maybe it'll just go. Yep, there we go. Yeah, I believe what's happening with that is, since I was, in between about here and back there, I think maybe it was trying to go back to the start point, but now let's see if we can successfully send both of them. Oop, nope, he's trying to go backwards. There we go. Now I'm just gonna be curious to see what happens here. So let's get back over to our other truck and see where he's at. And I hope I gave enough time, because this truck's a little bit slower than the Peterbilt. But I don't think the Peterbilt is going to catch up with this truck until the return route. Yeah, so here comes the Peterbilt. It's almost up on number 1. And I think that's going to be okay timing wise. Let's see. Well, no, I think actually we might get a head-on collision again. Let's just see what happens. Maybe we get lucky and they'll pass each other. And crash. Yikes. And that's what I was afraid of. I may have to re-record these courses to where they're sticking to one side of the road or the other. Oh well. Alright, that ain't gonna work. Oh, we'll just manually drive it back up there. If we don't get run over by the Peterbilt again. That truck does move. It's got a top speed, I believe, that's about 9 miles an hour faster, I think. But we just sold a bunch of wood because we had about, well, I think it's a little less than $9,000. Now we got 76,000. And so, like I was saying, from here on out now, we're basically just banking money because we've got all the equipment we need for right now. I would like to maybe get yet another truck and trailer so we can have 3 going. Because I think I can keep up if I can work offline, you know, between videos. If I cut some trees, skid them, process them, and load them, and have at least 2 trucks ready to go, we can probably get 3 to 4 loads of video. Oh yeah, we're doing good. I'm not sure where that Peterbilt truck is, but he seems to be a good ways back, so I'm just gonna pull this truck right in front of the grandpa loader and get it ready to go. In fact, I tell you what, I'm gonna back this thing up just for a few minutes. We need to process this pile of wood because we don't have much left over here, and I don't want to hit my truck when I'm doing it. I'm just gonna throw this over here somewhere. Oh, there's another piece. Truck's made it back. Let me stop the driver so we're not wasting money. And I'm let's see, he's fine right now. I'm just leaving him right there. Alright. Now let's see what we can do with this big pile of wood. shouldn't take too long to process all this. I can usually get through a pile like this pretty quick, as long as the wood cooperates. And one trick I've learned, see how the tree is swaying back there from side to side? If you wait just a second for it to stop doing all that, you usually won't have a problem with processing the wood and causing a big mess. But yeah, those logs and trees and whatever get to swaying and causes a big problem. Uh-oh. Let's try that again. I kind of got these trees tangled up whenever I was skidding them up. I was trying to get them skidded up into a pretty decent pile, but then sometimes whenever I would run my skidder, I had to make a turn, and then the trees would kind of overlap each other. So we'll just have to be careful to make sure that we're not picking up any overlapped trees. Well, yesterday for me was a good day, and y'all have already watched the video, but Rockwood came out for Farming Simulator 17. That was one of my favorite maps on 15 because I believe, and I mentioned this. Oh, look at that mess. See, that's what I was talking about. But I don't know. The tree was not swaying, so I'm not sure what happened there. But anyway, what I was saying was, if you watched the video, you saw where. You know, I talked about in Farming Simulator 15 how I liked that Rockwood map because it was, I believe, one of the first ones that came out for 15 that was nothing but trees. And just a strictly forestry map, which is, you know, what I was doing with it back then mostly. I did, on 15, I was using it to mow some grass. That was kind of fun, but I decided with 17 I'm not going to mess with any kind of aspect of the game other than the forestry. See, there it goes again. I don't understand why it's doing that. Maybe I'm on something. Let me look at my tracks when I get finished with this one. Well, I'm on that little sawdust pile, but that shouldn't be causing a problem. You can get off of that and see if that helps. I don't think that was it, though. gosh, there it goes again. I wish I knew what's causing that. That sure is a pain. Well, we're doing pretty good here over here at the loop. Um, as we pan back around here to the woodpile, right along the river here, there's a few trees left to get. You can see a few over there. However, I've got some of them marked where I'm not going to cut. And then back up this hill right here, we still got some. And then at the very top of that hill, we'll get those. And then these last few right in through here. And on the other side of that hill right there, there's a few that we'll need to get. But we're actually doing pretty good. I suspect that if I can continue to work in between videos, that it probably won't be too many more videos. We'll be looking to move somewhere else. Because like I've been saying, I've been trying to work in between videos to get some of the monotonous stuff like, you know, trees skidded and processed, and because I've said this several times before, but I don't want us to be on episode 200 and then we're only not even halfway finished with the map yet. So got to get a move on. Which is another reason why I want to possibly get another truck and trailer. That way we can have 2 or 3 loaded and maybe load up a couple more. Just really move some wood. But for right now, we're just going to stick with what we got. I need to get those floodlights turned off too. Forgot to do that. Alright, last one for right now. And I think I am going to just move this over here for right now. We got quite a bit of stuff to pick up over here. A bunch of wood chips and pieces and stuff. So I'm just going to move that right there. Alright, let's get our truck in place. And let's hop in our loader. See how big of a mess we can make. I have gotten a lot better since I first started using this grapple loader to load trucks, but sometimes it's still a mess. And sometimes it's hard just getting the logs into the grapple. You really gotta, because I mean the ground has no give, the trees have no give, so it's basically like almost kind of like picking up round beams, steel beams on a concrete floor or something. There's no give to anything, and I'm already too far away. Yeah, I've decided I kind of like keeping my tracks like this, because if my tracks were parallel with the logs, then if I grabbed a big bunch of logs, my grapple loader is going to tip over. And if I was parallel with the truck, whenever I tried to swing them over to put them on the truck, then I might tip over towards the truck. So I think I'm just going to leave them at an angle. Try this, see if this works. But see, there's no give. Like whenever you try to reach in there, you might only get 4 or 5. And I want to get the whole grapple full. But what I do find that works is if you tilt the grapple head up like this and put the bottom on the ground and then just kind of scoop into it, that works pretty good. You can get a pretty good pile that way. We got one that's kind of gone haywire there. That may be off the other side. Let me look. Yep. Okay, well, we'll run over there and get him off of there. In fact, what I may do is just cut it off. I don't know. Well, I'll tell you what, maybe we can grab it from the small end down here. This is probably going to cause a big mess. Hopefully not. There we go, we got it. We had it. Alright, where's my grapple? There we go. Alright, let's get this truck out of the way for right now. Well, I'll tell you what, let's just go ahead and send it. I'm going to get on up the road here a ways, and then we'll go ahead and send this one through. We may get one more load. I don't quite think that's enough for one more. We'll be close. Let's see what we can do. Yeah, I've actually come a pretty long ways on getting the trucks loaded. Gosh, when I first started Well Farming Simulator 15, all I had was a tractor with a front end loader and a grapple on it. Had that dual log fork grapple, which I really liked. It worked pretty good, but gosh, that was slow. I mean, you had to load basically one log at a time. And I didn't have a dual joystick set up. I had one, but I didn't have the other. So finally I bought another joystick and just got a used one off of eBay for, I don't know, $10 or $12, whatever it was. And then that made a world of difference. But yeah, I couldn't use the grapple loaders and stuff because I didn't have any way of controlling them good. I suppose you could do it with a mouse, but that'd be tough. All right, come on, I got to fix this. My joystick, for some reason, whenever I do a certain function, I think Joy the Key's got it tied to a let's see, that would be the right joystick on my gamepad controls the camera left and right. And so I think it's tied to that somehow, and whenever I reach a certain point or hit a certain combination of keys, it's trying to change my camera view. Yep, see, just like that. And why is that not? That may be too many. I think maybe if I had loaded them correctly, I could have gotten all these on here, but this might be too many. Yeah, maybe that'll ride. It's a big old load. Oh, well, it's big on one side. Yeah, look at that, golly. Okay, maybe I can clean that up just a touch. I don't want to really go down the road with it like that, even though I can strap it in. It'd probably be alright, but... let's see if we can't clean that up just a little bit. Well, I'm kind of worried about that one log on the left side that's up there near the top, or at the top. I think I'm gonna... Oops, stupid camera. I think I'm going to just take that one off. I don't like the way that looks. All right. Well, that's a big old load right there. Yeah, so I think maybe I showed you all the progress I'd made with cutting last time, but you can see we're kind of basically halfway in between Davison Lake and the loop, kind of up on this hill, obviously, but there's still a few trees left. I think, let's see, whenever I was pointing out what was left in the processor, we couldn't see over here, but I believe those trees right there was at the top of that hill, and there's just those few down in here. And there's some more on the other side of that hill, and then we'll try to get all this stuff. There's some more back over this way towards the road. We'll get all that, but and then now some of this down in here may be a little tough. 'Cause that's pretty steep. We'll get as much as we can. If we can't with the fella buncher, then I'll just go in there with a chainsaw, cut it down, and we'll try to skid it out. The skidder should be able to get it, I hope. And then on down this way back towards where we've already cut by Davison Lake. We'll get all this in here. Yeah, I tell you what though, you got to be careful running this thing on this big old hill, because FDR Loggins somehow changed something, and it's he even mentioned it, but it makes it a lot easier to roll this thing over. In fact, I've already rolled it over twice, but I was luckily able to get it back on its tracks upright without having to reset it, but it was real close there a couple times. Or at least once out of those 2 times I was worried I was going to have to reset it. Yeah, some of this in here is steep. I may have to be getting some of this with the chainsaw. And then we're back over here to the road. I've already got a bunch laying down ready to be skidded back up. As a matter of fact, let's look and see. I think I'm getting close to, if not already, 3,500 trees cut. Yeah, 33. I'm at 33,304. So we're getting close. But anyway, I tell you what, let's go ahead and wrap up the video for this time. I've got to get busy here on some other stuff, and all right. That was a pretty big chunk of change right there for those logs. Tell you what I am going to do though. I'm gonna get these floodlights turned off because I think it could be causing part of my. I've been experiencing some graphics issues, and I think part of that could be these lights. Whoa. I like where those lights were at though, because last time I tried putting them over here on this side, and every time I tried to process a log I kept hitting it, so, and skidding logs and stuff, I kept running into them. So I think I like them in the back where they can shine towards the truck. Alright. Okay, well, in between videos here, I'll try to get a bunch more of those logs skidded up that we've got cut, and I may try to make another pass with the fella buncher and get some of this up here on this hill so we don't have to worry about all that anymore, and maybe start making my way back down this way, because I don't think there's all that much left back over here on this side. So I'll try to get all these trees cut down. I may show some of that on the next video, and then I'll make my way back over here and come up this little middle pass and get all this right in here on the lower area, and then make my way back down this way and get all these and work my way back towards the river. And then what we'll do is we'll cut down the river and back up that road, and that should clear it out. We should be getting real close over here. Okay. Yeah, and let's see, let's take a look at the map again. I'm not really sure where I want to move next. I've got a bunch of trees with markings on them where I've defined some boundaries. I know down around number 1 and near the sawmill I've got some boundaries defined. I'm not really sure where I want to move to next. I'm thinking possibly maybe number 2 or number 3 up there by Orto Lake, or possibly even number 6. I don't know if I'm really ready to tackle the wetlands again. I tried that, I think, towards the beginning of this series, and I don't know, maybe I just didn't have the right setup or something, but I didn't really care for the wetlands too much. But or a possibility might be to go down towards number 1, because there's a ton of trees in between the sawmill and number 2, right in that area, on both sides of that main road going north. Or we could go up to number 6. That's kind of isolated. I don't think there's any real way of, other than that one road that goes up to number 6. We'd have to cut a path maybe to number 3 and make a loop. I don't know. Well, I'll check it out and be thinking about it. But we'll probably be moving somewhere near Orta Lake, or possibly number 1. I'm not sure yet, but I'll get that figured out. Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. And this is Pacific Inlet, and we are at the loop, what I call the loop anyway. And yeah, so we'll just continue working on next time and try to move. Let's see, let's shoot for. I'll have these 2 loaded, and I got 2 more, so let's shoot for 4 again, and we'll try to really move this along. And I'd like to get out of the loop here pretty soon, so I think we're getting real close. Just got to get a bunch of logs skidded up and get the rest of these trees that you see all through here, all that cut out and skidded up, processed and loaded, and we'll be ready to move somewhere else. Alright, so until then, y'all have a good one. This is Jonathan. See you later.